Hi, Gasbin. My name is Alex. This is Erin and Neve, and we're going to be interviewing you today about your musical experience, career, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
So, what inspired you to start making music?
I've always known from a really young age that I wanted to do music. Anything that had to do with music, whether it was songwriting or performing or producing, but songwriting and performing is main priority just now. And it's a bit hard when at that young age you already know what to do because teachers are just like, oh yeah, she's just being silly.
Yeah.
She doesn't know yet, but yeah, I do know. And I'm happy to be doing it so far,
Yeah,
It's a good thing to be doing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
that's great.
And what kind of music would you say that you write?
Well, I'm a singer-songwriter just now at the moment, but I'm looking to branch out into a band.
Yeah.
But I like loads of different stuff. Like I love rock and blues rock and soul, R&B, indie, jazz.
Yeah.
I love funk and punk. I love loads. Just don't ask me about dubstep or emo. Like, I've never had an emo phase, so I'm really, I feel blessed, but
You should.
no emo phase, no Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
But
Definitely not.
genre-wise, I like lots of different
Yeah.
things, really, definitely.
What would you say your main goal is as an artist?
I think well, first of all, it's important to, as an artist, to be making music that you love and that you're not saying, okay, I'm just writing something for the hell of it, It really has to mean something. And if I can make music that is good, sustainable, instead of not good, I was going to say shit, but we're on camera just now.
You
You can swear.
As long as my music is not shit and I can take people on a journey or something, then that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Right. So, do you write your songs for anyone in particular, or just general?
Do you mean if I write songs for other artists or
No, for about someone you know, or
I would say sometimes I write songs and they're about my own experience. Sometimes I write about people that I've met before. I'm originally Kurdish, and I lived in the Netherlands for 17 years. And in that amount of time, you meet loads of different people, you get in loads of different situations, and but also in here that people that inspire you to write a song or something,
Yeah. And what kind of audience do you think that your music attracts?
I hope it'll be young people, just people like me who sometimes feel a bit confused about situations, whether it be, I don't know how you feel that might confuse you, or politics or whatever, But music's for everyone. As long as I have an audience,
Yeah.
I mean, if my mom's not like the only fan that I have, I'm good,
Yeah.
What was your first gig experience like?
The first gig that I played at or that I went to, or
The first
can
gig
do
you
both.
played, or both.
Yeah, sure. The first gig that I properly played was when I was in 6th year. I was in choir,
Yeah.
and we had a Christmas concert. And after the concert, there was like a separate slot for people to do solo performances. And I told my music teacher I would like to do one. So I practiced the hell out of Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen and just did that. And people were like, oh, it's so nice. And I was like, oh, stop it, But yeah, that was my first experience playing. And I remember the first gig I went to was the Bootleg Beatles. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
That's great. How do you promote your music, if you promote something?
Promoting's really tough because with social media now, it's so hard because, especially with Instagram, you don't know whether it's an actual fan that's following you or it's just like spam. Especially with promotion, I try my really hardest, but it's just tough to sometimes reach an audience. I'll try and be as engaging as possible in my posts and to deliver content that's actually worth liking and sharing. But likes and shares are nice, but it's more about the effectiveness of getting people to come to your gigs. Because if that's not gonna happen, then something's wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you just share your music on Instagram or other platforms?
I've got a SoundCloud. Can't speak today. Sorry. I've got a SoundCloud page.
Okay.
To be honest, I find it really hard sort of accepting technology. I'm like, I've got a brick phone, to be honest, and I'm really about music's like it's a personal thing. It's more personal to, sit there with a piece of vinyl or CD. I'm not gonna tape it onto the walls or the ceiling or something like that because that's just ridiculous. But I slowly have to start accepting it, especially if it's one of the few ways to get your music out there.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've ever been, judged for like making music?
Yeah, I think so. I think loads of artists do, because I don't know if I know you do music, but it's always with music. You always hear people say, get a proper job or get a realistic job. I haven't heard that much of that in Scotland, but when I used to live in Holland, people love being realistic. They're just like, Gasbin, you're fucking insane. You have to get a proper job, even if that makes you unhappy. It's a realistic job. And I was just like, I can't do that, music's my passion. I can't do anything else. I think the most important thing is to stick to what you want and know what you want. And I know what I want, but that's the most important thing. Because if you start living off what other people want you to do, then you're dead.
Yeah.
And I don't make any exceptions or how do I say that? Any exceptions for what I want to do with music, Just do what I want to do and keep going.
Yeah. What makes you stand out as an artist, do you think?
Well, that's a bit of a tough one, because I don't want to sit here and be like, oh yeah, Mariah Carey and all that, but because I'm originally Kurdish and lived in Holland, I think I've got loads of different influences that might come through. It's not just music from the UK and America that I like, there's lots of stuff in there. I love loads of Dutch bands, loads of really ancient Kurdish singers and Egyptian singers, because my mom and my dad, they grew up on that, and they're either old or they're really dead. They're very dead. But it's those are people that are traditional Kurdish music and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I like too. If music's music, you're gonna like it or you're not gonna like it.
Yeah.
How old were you when you wrote your first song?
Do you mean my okay song or my first really shit
first
song?
Any song.
Well, you can tell us both.
I think my first really shit song was when I was 12, and I don't even remember how it goes anymore. It was just really shit. But the first one I properly wrote was about maybe 15, 16. Yeah, I was going a wee bit through a tough time, and the high school that I went to, they didn't have music as a curriculum, and I was in a really bad place, very unhappy, and I think that's what my first song really was about,
Yeah.
But
which artists do you think influence your style?
do I pick one or do I just
Any of them?
I think Jeff Buckley was a really big one for me. Because when I was in choir, I was in the alto section, because you've got alto, sopranos and stuff. And that's why I was like, okay, that's it. I can only do alto, I can't do soprano. But when I heard his voice for the first time, and he was doing these crazy high notes, and, at some points he was really subtle, and at other points he really understood dynamics really well. And I thought, that's what I want to be like.
Yeah.
I love Joni Mitchell as well. She's crazy good. I love Aaliyah. She was the singer from 90s, and she died in 2001. And I feel like this is a bit of a guilty pleasure to admit, but I'm not a diehard fan, but I think Christina Aguilera's voice, it just never disappoints.
Yeah.
Actually, she's got an album called Stripped. It's for this is where her massive hits are on, Dirty, Beautiful, Voice Within, Fighter and all that. it's on that album, and it's such a good album.
Yeah.
Recommend you listen to it, because it's actually, it's so good.
Yeah.
Feel a bit guilty for saying that, guilty
Should
pleasure,
we?
but voice-wise, she never disappoints, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like Britney. You know, Britney's just a performer. That's why
Yeah.
Madonna loves her. Madonna's not really a singer either, is she? You know. I mean, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Shit, man. Okay. Cool.
So, what do you think the main message is you'd want to send people?
I want people, when they listen to my music, I want them to think for themselves, to be independent, and I don't want them to feel too much as if they have to comply with what other people think.
Yeah.
A lot of people, especially young people out there, they get insecure so easily, and they're always like, oh no, I have to wear this, I have to have these shoes, and I have to be like this in order to sort of be accepted by a group of maybe popular girls or whatever. And people these days, they not even these days, but always, you know, especially young people, they've always felt so pressured to be part of something,
Yeah.
you know, instead of listening to their own authentic voice.
Yeah.
I've struggled with that before in the past, and I think with music, really focusing on it right now is giving me sort of a safe haven to just always, okay, these people, they might not like me, but I've got the music, and that's important.
Yeah.
Good message. Good questions, by the way.
Is there any specific venues you would like to play at, just worldwide
Worldwide?
or in the UK? Your
Um,
dream venues.
I think my dream venue for now at the moment is the Classic Grand. Not the one that's, because I don't know if you've ever been to the Classic Grand.
I know of it. I've never been in
Yeah.
it, but
Never been.
Alright, well, it's basically on Jamaica Street, so this is where all the junkies are and where you'll just smell drugs all the time. Smell very nice smell, but anyway. It's got two venues. One of them is a really shit venue. And one of them, when you go upstairs, it's massive. It was like a 1930s cinema, I think. But it's beautiful. It's got this massive stage with very nice arch. And I remember going there for the first time to see one of the college bands. And I just went in there and I thought, holy shit,
yeah.
I want to be playing here. But Red Rocks would be good to play. It's
Oh, is that in America? It's
mhm.
yeah.
It's where U2 did the music video for Sunday Bloody Sunday.
Mm.
Loads of other people have performed there. I think I don't like Mumford and Sons, but they've played there. And who else? I can't remember, but it's a very famous place
Yeah.
to be playing for gigs and stuff. Wembley would be good. I'd like to play Glastonbury someday, but
Yeah.
who knows if that's gonna happen. You know.
I'm going to change this question slightly because I don't really like it. But it's, how do you find inspiration for your songs? But I want to go more into how do you kind of go about like writing a song?
Oof. Do you know, sometimes with writing a song, sometimes I either first come up with a chord progression, but sometimes it's also one line, one lyric, and then I just come up with an entire story for that. Mix in other stuff or other lyrics that I've written as well. Sometimes you find that if you write a song and you've got the lyrics for it, the chords don't really match, so you've got to change them.
Yeah.
But there's not really one specific way to go about for writing a song. Everyone's method is different, you know?
Yeah.
And we've just got to accept that, you know? I mean, I can't change how
Yeah.
people write songs. Yeah. Yeah.
And is there anything else you'd like people to know about your music career? Just anything in general?
What I'd like people to know about my music is that I would say I'm very passionate and I'm very dedicated to music. I don't see myself doing anything else. I love it very much with all my heart and soul. And it's if you want to check it out, you can check it out. I mean, I love it. I think it's worthy of listening to. Do I? Yes,
Yeah.
yes. See,
good
it's
thing.
hard.
Yes.
It's hard to be. Like, I'm not this overconfident at all. But when you're a musician and you've got your songs, you've got to believe in at least something of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can't just go to an interview and say, "Oh yeah, I just do music and blah blah blah." No, you've just got to be really confident and yes, this is what I do, and that's the way it is, you know.
That's great.
that.
Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for having me.